Welcome back to Morris Modified. So today, nothing too drastic, we'll just be doing a little bit of electrical work. We're fitting these two little light bars here, so if you have noticed in the previous video I posted up that the knobs looking a bit different at the front end. I actually removed these old Dinosaur spotlights, the old IPF that come with the actual standard bull bars and standard with the truck when you buy it. They weren't bad, they're quite nice, they go with the bull bar because of the chrome ring and everything. But I actually upgraded them about 3 years ago to a 140 watt bulb, which wasn't a spectacular upgrade, but you could tell the difference. Put the blue covers on to see a bit more light, or see a little light a little bit better. But yeah, not a great deal. They're getting old, they don't do the job. And this light bar here, which was cheaper, actually is doing a lot better job than these do with it. So anyway, decided it's time to move on, get rid of them. They're just useless now, I would say. I might use them as workshop lights or something, I don't know yet, I'm still deciding. This one's got a blown bulb, so partly why I decided it was time to move on. And I wanted to open up the front end, so these were sitting in front of the new grill I actually made myself, and the flat surface, as you can see, as far as I would think, the air would hit this and it would disperse across the flat surface and disrupt the airflow rate to the grill. So I wanted to open this whole grill section up here, which is what I've done. This light bar used to be up top, now it's down bottom, and as you can see it leaves this whole nice front section open, so the air pressure will the airflow will run straight to the heat exchangers and hopefully do a better job. So yeah, got rid of these. We're going to go with the light bars. Also got rid of these little buffer mounts, cleaned up the bull bar a little bit better. They probably are useful for something, but I haven't used them in the past 6 years that I've owned the truck. Basically I don't want to be nudging anything, so anyway, put these aside. And yeah, so I'll be adding these two little light bars. They run direct from the manufacturer, about 50 bucks. I believe you can buy them from, I think it's ARB or TJM, about 120. So if you go direct to the supply, it's always cheaper. But yeah, anyway, they're called Defend Industries. They're just a Korea light, and basically all your light bars are pretty good as long as, what I look for anyway, is the waterproofing. So you see this number here, the IP67, it's actually backwards because of the selfie camera, sorry, but it's actually IP67 with a little water symbol. That's your actual, what would you call, dust and water resistance. So the higher the numbers, the better. So 6, I believe, is the dust resistance, and 7 will be the actual water resistance. So the higher the number, the better is basically what you want to know, and you want to see that on the box. So if you buy any of your light bars and they don't have an IP number, you know that they're probably not very well, what would you call, proofed from the elements, so you probably want to stay clear from them. Anyway, this one was the same, it was an IP67, so I guess it must be a generic standard for light bars, as this is the exact same, so we'll see how it goes. It came with 2-year warranty, yeah, I can't complain. And the reason I went with the smaller ones is because I'm not planning on, going crazy with lights. All I want is a bit more spread. So this doesn't do bad for focus and distance. I could be better, but I'm happy with it the way it is. As I said, it's just better than the IPFs at the moment. I removed the IPFs and there's barely a noticeable difference, so I'm pretty happy with this light bar. But I'm going to increase the spread. So these will probably go roughly around there. I probably won't have them on so much of an angle, probably have them more still sort of facing the front, but it'll give a nice spread. So the reason I'm going with a spread beam more than focus at this point is because I did have a near miss about 2 weeks ago with a skip being a kangaroo, and it was actually about 7 PM at night. I'm driving along the road and straight out of corner, I've never had one jump in front of me before, but straight out of corner, probably about maybe 10 meters in front of me, 20 meters in front of me, just right past, and as they hop, and you got no time to react. So anyway, I did slam the brakes, and thankfully I got away with it. It did give me a shock because I thought, I would see him a lot further away, but I did have my spotties on and I didn't see him. So I had my spotties, the way they were set up was, there was a nice decent spread from this light bar. It wasn't too bad, but it mainly is just probably a meter on each side of the road, so not a great deal. And the IPFs, I mean, they're just focused really, and they're dull bulbs, so you don't really see much. But after that experience, I want to see a lot further outways as well, because after that, it kind of made me realise if a skip does jump in front, you got very, very minute amount of time to react, and the quicker and earlier you can see the roux, the quicker you can react. So more light towards the outside so far. If I want to spread, or sorry, if I want a more focused beam later on, there might be a few lights that I might add later on, but right now I just want spread. So today I'll be showing how I install and how I solder and how I wire in. There's many ways to do it. A lot of people have their own methods, but I'll be showing you my way. And yeah, if hopefully you can take something from it, learn something from it, or have a laugh, as I say. If I'm entertaining you, I'm winning. So when we're precise, you probably should measure it, but I'm just going to what looks to be a centre. So there's going to be my 2 holes. So we'll start by removing the indicator. So you always want to centre punch before you drill with a sharp punch. That way when you go to start your drilling, the drill doesn't go off to a side and then all of a sudden the bits you've marked out don't line up and you have to start all over again. Really like that. So I'll put these in place now and then we'll do the wiring afterwards. So for those who have a little bit or haven't had much experience with nuts, bolts, washers, blah blah blah, you always got to have your washers under the nut. So the reason being, if say you're doing paint, you're screwing onto paint panel or bolting on the paint panel, you don't want the nut, and you're always tightening the nut, you never tighten the bolt, you tighten the nut. You don't want that to bind on the surface that you're tightening onto and distort it, especially panel work that's thinner material. It could end pretty badly. So anyway, washer always goes under the nut, and these spring washers here, people probably don't take a thought to it, what these and why they've got the spring there. So these are a type of lock washer, and they're very necessary. So most people just discard them because it's just a washer with a bloody cut in there, right? You know, but it's actually a lock washer. So the spring pressure in both directions actually stops the securing nut from coming undone, and that's why they have a cut there. So when these actually become flat, so say they've been sitting you over time underneath a bolt and they become flat like that, these are no longer doing their job, so you throw them out and you go get another one. So you probably could bend them, I guess, but you just really replace them. That's what I've done. So anyway, just thought I'd throw that out there in case no one knew or people were wondering why you have spring washers or slotted washers like that included in the kit. Now you know why. So we'll put those underneath the head of the bolt, underneath the head of the nut, and we'll put this washer underneath that spring washer. It should do its job. Old wiring loom here used for the IPFs that I'll be using. That way we're continuing to use the same light bar switch. Yeah, so this side, thankfully, the wiring's ready to go. So this side will be easy enough for me to wire up. I just have to wire it up into these power and earths. And with most automotive vehicles, Red's usually a power, just like in the battery. So red will be a 12 volt or your 20 volt, 4 volt depending on what vehicle, and black or brown is usually your earth. It can be different on trucks, as I've found recently, so trucks can be reversed and your black can actually end up being the power, but for automotive small light vehicles it's universal that usually your red is your power and your black or brown is your earth. So, as I was saying, there's different ways to do this. Now, I've learned over the years an efficient method that I've been using for a while now. So, traditionally, the way I used to do this, especially in my apprenticeship, is to hold two wires together and you'd heat up both, so you heat both the elements, and then while you're holding it together, and I used to use actually a pair of vice grips to hold it in place. You'd hold your soldering iron there, you'd hold your solder and you'd feed it on. You're melting, you're pretty much getting these two bits of wire up to the same temperature to which they would then absorb the solder. I've learned that that's an inefficient way and I don't like using that method. So what I do now, and what I've learned to do, and it's been working for me for years now, and I've been using it ever since, and I know a lot of people don't agree with this, but this is the way I've taught myself, and this is the way that's worked for me efficiently. As you may see, you may want to use it, you may not. You want to maybe stick to the traditional method, up to you. This is just the way I do it, and that's the way I'm going to show it for now. So, anyway, we're going to heat up the soldering kit. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. There we go. 10 seconds heating time, not a bad soldering iron. And usually you'd hold it onto the wire for a bit, but hopefully the solder dripping onto it will heat it up a little bit faster. So I'm just going to feed the solder onto it now. There we go. Do the same to the negatives. While the soldering iron is still up. So this way I do all four of them at the same time. You should be able to slip them over easily because they're cold. Should be cold. Should cool down. They cool down quite quickly, being lead. Okay. And now, all you have to do is heat this up, and you should be able to just hold the two bits of wire together. Hopefully you guys can see this. Run it over just briefly, side by side. Done. So now it should cool down, and as you can see, maybe you can't see, it's fully soldered in there. Just do the other side now. Done. Alright, let that cool down a little bit. So ideally, the lighter will get this done a lot quicker. I don't have one on me right now, so I'm just using a heat torch on this electric soldering iron. It should be good anyway.